Great. Okay, there's three people. So this is the new link, guys. Because we had to restart this whole thing. But yeah, you can tell everybody that was already on to just come back. This is actually why I had to go back because I couldn't work this hard on a presentation and then not show you guys. So I wasn't playing. It's not, the old man, in case I'm an old man compared to you guys. He just doesn't understand technology. I had a whole nice presentation set for you guys. So let's see if we can actually do justice to my work and go back. I think if you also know that you got law students that follow you or that you have on your WhatsApp, you can just take a picture of this screen right now and then just send it to them. That way they can see that we're doing a serious session. This is not just, I didn't come here to do the Instagram live where we talk about intellectual property law with no context. So, yeah, hopefully everybody comes back. So, as I was saying, we did the campaign. That was nice. And essentially, we got over 100 new people. That was beautiful for me because I really value having all these new people benefit from the stuff that we do here. So that was very nice to see that we got new joiners. And since it's first years, we actually have a bit more. There's a beauty in being a first year in that there's a bit more runway for you to make mistakes and learn from those mistakes and benefit from the people that are ahead of you as well. I think if anybody that's a first year asks to be part of perhaps whatever group that you guys have created, it will be very valuable for them because they'll now have more seniors that they can rely on. I also think the beauty of the group that you guys are kind of in is the fact that you're not just from one university. So you can see things from different perspectives. You can benefit from trends that happen in different geographical locations. I think it's much better than just, oh, this is the first year's WhatsApp group or this is the first year's cohort from the same university. You would have seen each other anyway in class. So it doesn't help to just mimic that. I think now that you guys are in a bigger group, that's going to be helpful. So, I hope the people that won their prizes are here because I'm about to announce them and we're missing 10 people. So, I don't know how we're going to deal with that. And I also want to like keep wasting time because I did lose about 5 minutes trying to like restart this whole thing. But let's go. So, what happened? What you're seeing here is everybody that was given a shout out from the campaign that we did. Now, I will admit, I tried to like get as many of these as possible, but there was just too many. It would have filled up the whole screen. And I think because you get the point, I don't need to like literally put up every response we got. But there was a lot of them. Like if I can show you, there was a lot. And as you can see, there's like some people's names here. If you have an issue with your name appearing here, and perhaps for privacy reasons, you do not want this to end up in the YouTube cut that I'll post for everybody that didn't join, even though they do not deserve the YouTube cut. But if you have, some reservations, please let me know. I will respect your privacy and remove it. I've just only added the name and surname as was given by the students. So just let me know if you're like, hey, I'm incognito. I do not want to be known or seen. Great. Which is weird because you just helped run a successful campaign where you invited a lot of people. So it would be interesting if you told me not to include your name, but I would also understand it. So, first things first, let's go through who actually won, right? These are the names and the counts of the people that won. Please do some likes in the chat just for these people. Not for me, not for Samson, not for anything else, but just for these people. And I'll tell you why I'm very impressed with everybody. I'll tell you why. We got one like, two likes, no more likes, three likes, four likes, five likes. Guys, either YouTube is counting these slowly or you guys just been like, not really, we don't want to do that. But anyway, so if I also misspelled your name, please let me know. Tried not to, but yeah, please let me know because that would also be very, if it was me, I'd be offended. But great. So we have Usimanye with a whopping 47 people that mentioned her name, right? This was very. Oh, I'm sorry, Karabo. I think it just counts you once. So, or maybe all these 11 likes are yours. Maybe you're the only one that's holding up the likes in this whole thing. Maybe everybody else is the one that's slacking. So we had Usimanye with 47. I'm very grateful and thankful to her. And I will admit, beyond the campaign, I've seen a lot of Simanye's name on my LinkedIn. And she's been very, I'm humbled actually. She's been very proud of what we've been giving. Maybe because I've went through this journey with you guys, I'm very serious or very aware of how serious the content is, but I'm not aware of how serious the actual visibility on LinkedIn and everything is. So thank you to Simanye. I really appreciated everybody that she brought on board. My gift to you, besides the prize that you've won here, is going to be me trying to make sure that everybody that you referred is grateful to you. Like, I'll try to make sure that you don't end up in a position where you're like, remember when you once told us to watch that guy's or follow that guy's Instagram? You see what happened. Like, I'll really try and make sure that all the people that you brought on are happy and grateful to you. Second was Zanele. Now, the interesting thing for me when I was in the background watching all these responses come, it is for a very long time, these two were very, very close, neck and neck. And it got to a point where I was like, damn, it's going to probably get so close that I'll have to recount things 10 times, 20 times. And as you can see, there's only a difference of 10 people between them. But the fact that it's a difference in like the 30s and the 40s, it's very impressive. I think if you were to look at this and you said, how this is two classrooms. If you went to a public school like I did, this is one classroom, 47 people. But for some people, if you went to like a smaller or more, fancier school, 37 is like, that's twice or like two classes, right? So it was very nice to see these two really put in a lot of effort. We have Lisa as well. Lisa was also showing up a lot. And as you can see, it's 17 people. This was good. We had Uitu as well. And then we had Uzet, Notando, and Solange. I hope that is how you pronounce your name, Solange. And they also had one person each. Now, what you guys will find surprising, and I hope I didn't miss anybody's name, is these were actually the only people that participated in this whole thing, or at least that had students mention their names in the whole chat box thing. I'll go and check again if I missed anybody. If I never come out with an apology, just know I checked. There was no one. There's no apology to issue. But from what I really, when I sat down and counted it, and I did count it. So because I'm a lawyer, sometimes I worry that people don't believe me. Ooh, my iPad is off. I'll find a screenshot of when I was counting it. Literally, the tallies on my tablet basically counted everybody. So this was everybody that participated. Now, one thing I wanted to highlight to you guys, just based on this campaign alone, is firstly, thank you to everybody that joined. Welcome to the new joiners. You're gonna see how fun it is at the Samson family. And if you see anything posted by or said by Nkosnati in any of our lives, ignore it. We established during the whole boot camp that Nkosnati says a lot of things. Some of things he shouldn't say. He's not here today, but yeah, cool. The teachable moment here is that as you guys progress and as you guys entrench yourself as lawyers while you're still students, before you even become lawyers, there's going to be a lot of moments where you have to convince people to buy either into an idea, to follow a certain cause, to contribute to a certain cause, or to just do something that you see the benefit to. In those instances, you're going to be key in explaining the difference or the impact that they're going to make if they contribute to what you're selling, or they buy what you're selling, or they just listen to you. Your ability to convert them from just normal people that know you or are in your WhatsApp or who you met in some society into people that contribute to what you're trying to do. Your ability to do that is going to be a very big difference maker. At some point, if you join any of the law firms that are very heavy on the recruitments and the career fairs, they're going to send you as one of their people. They're going to send you into a university and they're going to say, hey, man, this is our law firm. You've been part of this law firm for a few months now. You now know what we're about. You know what the place has to offer. You are now supposed to go out there, convince these students that, hey man, if you didn't know about our firm, this is our firm. Convince them that if you knew about our firm but weren't very convinced that it's actually better than firm B, our firm is better. So this actually was an exercise on more than just, hey, can you just get some people that can follow us on our Instagram so that we can increase numbers? This was, can you go out there and actually use your network, use your appeal, use every little bit of resource that you have and get people to join into a cause that you believe in. Simanye, Lisa, Itu, Solange, Noltando. See how I'm not even like looking at that whole thing again. Now I'm literally just remembering their names off the top of my head. It was very impressive to see them step up. Uzanele as well. Imagine being number two and people just you not mentioned. So it was very, very impressive to me that they were able to do that. And I think if you didn't participate, if you didn't even bother, or if you tried and perhaps failed, try to relook at what your approach or mindset was when you were doing this whole thing and try to see how at some point this is a skill that I'll need, even beyond just getting employment. Like I said, you're going to be part of a law firm that's trying to fundraise. You're going to be part of a law firm that's going to be trying to get people that are going to join in on maybe a Nelson Mandela 67 minutes initiative, whatever it is. So this is more than just, hey, can you just do us a favor? This is also, while you're doing this, if people have a history of every time this person invites me to something, it's something interesting and it's something useful, then they're going to always look at you as somebody who's a plug. If you haven't built that, you're going to have to do it for the first time, maybe once you're like established, and it's going to be a bit too late by then. So I'll give you examples with stuff that I've done where I've really had to tap into this. I think when we we're in the boot camp, I did mention a bit of volunteer work that I did for UNICEF back in my time in university. And part of me trying to be creative with how I recruit people was because they had stationed us at different shopping centers and basically given us a lot of training, given us pamphlets, given us t-shirts that were branded. We were very official and we were very professional in what we were doing. But it got to a point where you could tell that people were just doing their own thing. They were moving about the shopping center. They were busy trying to focus on their day. So even when you approach them, if you bore them in the first 5 seconds, it was very hard to get them to even listen to you. Part of what I did, because one day they had put us next to a gym, there were just all these buff guys that kept passing by, and each time I just try to approach them, some of them would almost run me over because they were so big. And this is back when I was very tiny and I was a student. So I just got to a point where I'm like, I can't keep getting in the way of all these big guys. They're gonna literally, I don't know, stomp me today. So I then changed my script from what we were given. What we were given was a professional and very capable script, but I could just see that now I've even started getting a bit bored of it. So my new script was I would challenge all of the bodybuilder guys into a arm race contest. And if they lost that arm race contest, they had to listen to what I had to say. And it never worked. It didn't work because each and every one of them I were like, hey man, let's do an arm wrestling contest. And if I win, you have to listen to my pitch. And all of them would laugh. But you can now see how, even just from a branding perspective, now they're a bit more open, or like they're a bit more impressed by just the brand, even if they weren't giving in anything, because they knew I'd beat you and then it's over. But you could tell that if your whole point was to make an impression, you've been sent as an agent for somebody, they've asked you to achieve a particular task, even if your methods don't work, the fact that you're now trying to actively think of creative ways to get that point across is very important, right? So I think everybody that participated in this thing, I was very happy and thank you very much. I really appreciate your effort. Everybody that didn't join, it's not just about you losing out on the prize. It's also you losing out on the opportunity to build your skill sets and see what happens in real time. When you have 24 hours to gather as many people as possible, how capable are you compared to everybody else? You have people that really showed out. You have people that really came to the party. They got 47 people. They got 17 people. They got two people. If you didn't even get one and you saw that story, I'm not saying there's like any shame that should come with it, but it should really be an evaluation of, oh, damn, that was a very nice exercise that I could have been part of, right? Great. Now, let's move on from the teachable moment. Now, the one thing I would also like to highlight is our platforms. You guys already know almost all of these. I say almost because there's a high probability that you haven't signed up to the website. The website has nothing but resources. So it's not even going to be one of those things where we keep bothering you or anything. We just publish all the guides that we create there. And there's a lot that are still going to be uploaded. A lot of our assessments are also going to move here once we have a good working list of people that are part of the Samson family. YouTube is where we're going to do long form videos and all these live videos. Now, I don't know how smoothly you guys feel about this session, but if this session is anything to go by, this is going to be a very nice and smooth run. So YouTube is going to be very important, especially for the long form videos. I currently have one that I've partly finished for you guys. It's on family law, or at least a segment of family law. And it's not just me trying to get you guys to watch a video. Behind that video is a deeper intention, is I'll be to teach you, at least plug you guys with 3 NGOs that you can request to volunteer from. The reason I haven't published it is because I decided that instead of telling 500, let's assume there's 500 of you guys, instead of telling 500 students that, hey guys, go volunteer or ask to volunteer in these own NGOs, I could start establishing what those NGOs want right now, right? Because some of them, as much as they have websites where they say, oh, we accept volunteers for these campaigns, you'll find that some of the information is outdated. Perhaps they still planning some of the programs and plan to, like, I don't know, launch them in the next few months or so. Perhaps they just finished a program or a volunteer initiative, and perhaps they're in a cooling period where they're trying to like see what they can work with. So the idea is, instead of everyone rushing to these 3 places and then overwhelming them with applications, and then they don't even understand what to do with you, how about we talk to them? We tell them how many students are here. We tell them who the most serious and engaged students are, and we ask what capacity they have volunteer work at the moment. And when they get back to us, we're hoping to get an answer like, hey, this is very great. We actually need 10 people for this in the next period of so, or thank you, or we don't have anything at the moment. And then we can look at other NGOs. That way, when you also get the information, you're not getting frustrated because, hey, you just suggested this list of NGOs, none of them came back to me, and it's a useless and unhelpful exercise. Before I go on, I see that there's 27 people that have joined. This is actually, I think, our highest number. If everybody who hasn't hit the like button can like, I would really appreciate that right now. Hit the like button, please. I'll even hit myself because I think I have, yeah, I can here. Where is it? Yeah, I can actually like my own thing. I'm not saying I don't need you guys. Maybe like my own thing. Yeah. What? What? Yes. 14 likes. Guys, there's 22 people. Instead of getting the likes up, we just lost like 6 people. What's happening? Would people rather just leave than like? Got 15. Thank you to whoever just like right now. The chat is also very quiet. I don't know. Maybe because 19 needs to come in. I hope he's fine wherever he is and just light it up. Okay, let me continue. So, with each of these, right, I would suggest you follow and sign up on each of them, because there's going to be certain things that are in the Samsung website that are not on Instagram. And it can't be on Instagram because it's an actual PDF or it's a guide or something. So, it's just going to be impractical for us to put it on Instagram. There's going to be certain things that are on LinkedIn that are not on either YouTube or Instagram as well. And LinkedIn is particularly important when we look at, this is where law firms hang out. So if we were trying to say something or make law firms see something that we're doing in the background, it's going to be on LinkedIn. And if you're not seeing what's happening, that's a problem. YouTube, you don't need to worry about YouTube other than subscribing, because we will tell you when videos drop. So you will know whether it's from Instagram or from LinkedIn if something important has dropped. But I think with Instagram, if you're already part of that family, thank you. LinkedIn, you can hang around there, especially for if you follow the Samson page, just to see what we're saying, because law firms are seeing that as well. The website. At some point, I'm gonna make sure that I prioritize people that have signed up on the website, because that shows the ultimate commitment. Literally, at some point, that's gonna be the most serious place where if you're not on the website as a member, it's free. There's nothing there that's like really weird. So if you're there, I'm gonna see how dedicated you are to this whole thing. If you're not, maybe I just recognize you from everything else. Cool. Let's move on from the Samsung social media stuff, then hit our next key item for today, right? Why do we keep doing all these polls and all these Q&As? I did say I'm going to address that. That way, again, you guys are not just sitting there saying, hey, I'm a law student. I don't need to always check my Instagram for your polls. Hey, I work and I got studies and stuff. I'm always too busy to go to your Instagram. As I said before, the reason is if we're trying to create resources and give you guys information, we have to understand where the information gaps are. There's no point in saying, hey, here's like 10 or 5 work simulations or job simulations that you should try out if 90% of the people in the whole community already did it. But what found out when I ran the poll the other day was that a lot of people, like literally a good 70% of everybody that responded, I'm tempted to cuss everybody that didn't respond, because I'm like, just click no, just click yes, just say something, help us out. But anyway, seeing that a lot of people actually hadn't even tried out any work simulations, it was then useful for us to go back and say, okay, what do we know, or what information do we know, or what have we seen with the available virtual simulations, and can we give those to you guys? So I think a big part of it is when we poll you, we're trying to see where you stand, and we're trying to see how many people are in a similar position as you, and how we can help you and those people out. If you keep quiet, we're going to assume you're good. If you do not give accurate information, say maybe you're ashamed, you've never done a job simulation, and now you feel like, I'm actually behind on this. I'm not proud to say it, so I'll just click yes, even though my answer is no. Then you're giving us incorrect information. And if you and everybody else does that, we'll figure, oh, I guess everybody knew about this. We don't need to touch on it. So it's very important. Like, it's very important for you to be very engaged in these things beyond just informing us on what we should do. It's also good for visibility, right? So, for example, when we did the boot camp, one of the questions that we had there was, hey, would you like us to take a glance at your CV and see perhaps if we can suggest anything? It's all good and well for you to be like, yeah, look at my CV. If I never see you, whether it's in polls, whether it's in comment sections, whether it's in likes, I don't see you in the live I'm having for YouTube here. If I never really see you, I do not think you're serious about this. I think you just saw this as, oh, let me just join them and then tell. It's more about what you want rather than what you need, right? So try to make sure that you are visible at the least, because when we did the Recruiter Hub, we took every piece of comment, reaction. When I was asking people to put ones in the chat and everything, and people were putting ones, and some people weren't even bothering, we took all of that and totaled it for everybody. Everybody. It didn't matter whether you asked a question, whether you contributed a comment, whether you reacted to somebody else's comment, as long as it was you engaging in our chat during the boot camp for all the sessions, for all the Zoom lives. We took all that and we basically added it up for everybody. And guess who was at the top? I'm not gonna say their name, but what I will say is that they ended up being the highlight of the whole thing. And now it's less about, are they the smartest in the group? Are they the most dedicated in the group? It's just, hey, you decided to attend this thing. Nobody forced you. You decided to sign up for this thing. Make the most out of it, right? Cool. Let's move on from the Q&A talk. I do not ever want to talk about it. If anybody who's not here ever like asked you, hey, why do we always have to give these answers to these things? We thought he's going to give us answers. Why are we giving him answers? It's because I can't give you answers for questions you know answers to. I need to know which questions you are still curious about, right? Somebody's been spamming that like button. Thank you. And everybody else who's not hitting it, you guys are allergic to engagement. Well, not you guys here, but most of the cohort we have. Um, God, I was saying with regards to Instagram, right? Especially Instagram. YouTube, I mean, with YouTube, it's even worse because with Instagram, I can get how it's just a poll. It usually takes 5 minutes to like think of a poll and then put it there. YouTube, sometimes people spend hours, especially with the work I'm trying to do because it has to be very careful and professional and informed. You spend hours researching a topic, you spend hours filming, making mistakes. You might think I'm good at this when I'm speaking in the live settings, but when it's supposed to be very serious and authentic and professional, it actually becomes harder to do things. So if somebody does that, the whole week they're working on a video that you should watch, you just get there, you watch the video, and you leave like that. Not only is it just not helpful, but it's also discouraging. So now you find yourself having somebody whose content and information you enjoy and find valuable, but they can see like I'm not really getting any, even if it's a dislike, right? It's like YouTube doesn't care what you do, but just try to make sure that you are visible and helping out with the engagement. How do you keep up with names? Because someone's names will be different names. How do you know? How do you go around that? I mean, if you're using a pseudonym, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I don't know, right? Like, I don't know. Now, of course, Nati, they found themselves. Congratulations, you're at the top of the engagement. You better hope law firms don't ask me what you were saying. Because if they ask for the receipts and the screenshots, that's the problem. So you're at the top, but ooh, I wouldn't want to be you, even though you are at the top. So, if you have a pseudonym, I do not know how to deal with that because I don't know. I don't know. And also, it's a good point that you brought up, right? Here's another problem that's beyond the pseudonyms. So, whenever we try to do these polls, and whenever it's maybe surveys from Google Docs, you'll have sometimes people that only put their name and they don't put a surname, or sometimes like they put in incomplete details. Now, imagine if this is an assessment or something, and we have to forward the results to law firms. Now, you're not looking like a serious person because it's going to be like, who's Bonga? Bonga didn't include their surname when we were doing the survey or the assessment. They didn't really think it was important. They just thought, oh, let me just. So I think it's very important to be very intentional, very serious, and very forward thinking with everything that we're trying to do here. DT, I'm not going to lie. My Instagram, my YouTube, and real name are completely different and deliberately. The only times I use the real names and surname was on Zoom or Google Docs and LinkedIn. Look, it's fine if it's on Google Docs because that's the assessment results we usually rely on for serious stuff. Law firms are not gonna ask me, oh, who's like really most engaged in your YouTubes. We did that for the boot camp, like creating the list and the rankings for people that are most engaged. We did that for the boot camp because if we're giving law firms all the content, saying here are all the slides, what if they just think none of these students read the slides? They don't care. But if we can show them how actively engaged people were, then there is an assumption that, oh, this person was really there. They were really through it. This is actually better than just having an attendance register because we're not just saying, oh, these are the names of people that were there. We're saying this is everybody who raised their hand. This is everybody who reacted to something. This is everybody who clapped. This is somebody who did something. Zanele with the retraction. What's happening? I do not know what you're retracting, comrade, but I hope it wasn't anything controversial. So, DT, just to tell you the truth, do not worry about now using your real name on Instagram or your YouTube. But now the whole thing is going to be at some point, you might want to, I don't know, make me aware that this is the person I've been talking to because it's not gonna be consolidated. But what I can tell you is that that's in the informal sense. That's when you come to the Assumption page and you WhatsApp us and you like, not WhatsApp, sorry, you Instagram or DM us and you like, I have an interview tomorrow. Can you please give me some quick tips? If I've seen your name before or I've seen your interactions, then I'm also a bit more open to like, oh no, now you really need some help. But if I've never seen you before, now we are Google, now we're ChatGPT. So I think it's just one of those things where you're trying to build credit and favor through something that's very easy engagement, whether it's participating in polls, liking the Instagram post that we do, liking the lives that we do. It's literally one of the most low effort things that you can do on your part. That way you can keep the whole thing going, right? We have someone say, I only use my real name on LinkedIn and YouTube. My Instagram, it's fine. It's fine. Do not worry, guys. Don't think now we out here. Don't worry. Just as long as your Instagram, whatever the name is interacting. Maybe one day we'll meet at a career fair and something, and you'll be like, "Oh yeah, I'm sexy baddie on Instagram that's been liking everything and commenting on every poll." Then I'd be like, "Oh, okay, nice to know you. What's your real name?" And then we can take it from there. That was a very bad example. Cool. Let's move on from this. I don't want to talk about this anymore. Cool. Now, what's happening here? God, Bilal is not gonna let this go. Some of us are K-pop fans. Our names are BTS something or other. That's fine, actually. Don't worry. Like you can keep your pseudonyms. That way, you can do whatever. It also helps as well with people that try to do background checks using social media because now you're not gonna be attached to whatever mistakes you might have made. I say mistakes because if you're harassing people under your pseudonym, that's a different story. Anyway, so let's do an overview of everything that's happened so far and where everything is gonna lead to. Right, this is very important, and thank you to all the 20 people that are currently in the chat. So we did the virtual boot camp. We did that for all of, well, not all of July, but we did it for like the first week of July. Then we went through all the posting, people really commenting. It was very beautiful, actually, showing us everything that they've been learning or that they learned from our whole thing. Speaking of names, Z and Zanele check one person. So I recruited 38 people. Wow. Well, you see, you see. Anyway, I mean, not the good thing, right? Simanye had 10 people more than you. Now it's 9. So this might have been helpful if it was like a tie nyana. In fact, it might have been very unhelpful if it was a tie because I wasn't going to do the recount. It's final now. But I think it's good that you're claiming your credit here. So, okay, Mazet, we hear you. So we did the launch and then we did the recruiter hub. As I said, I can't give you guys access to the recruiter hub because it has everybody else's names. And I think just to keep things separate, we're saying we did all this work. We did assessments, we did engagements during the boot camp, but now we're trying to put it into our LinkedIn profiles. We have all these recruiters that are not seeing this brand that a Samson has as a law firm. They're also not seeing it as an NGO. But regardless of what it is, if they're curious about what exactly happened during these 4 days where I'm doing a whole paragraph saying, oh, I learned this and that, if they're curious, where can they even see what happened? So that's the whole virtual bootcamp in a sense. It's the behind the scenes of everything. The behind the scenes shows them this is the agenda that we had, right? That way they can see if it's in line with what they do as a law firm or if it's not. It then goes on to show them this is all the content that we presented. Worst case scenario, they like, we do not do any of these things that were presented in this whole thing. So, no, actually, no, thank you, no. But if they feel like, damn, you taught them all this stuff on email etiquette, this is good. Actually, we like candidates that understand all these things. You taught them all these things on professionalism. Great. That's great. You showed them where we sit in the grand scheme of things by showing them how or where commercial law firms sit in the whole legal industry. Great. That way, they can also have confidence that you were not just referencing something that you were not really part of. Then, if maybe this is a recruiter that likes you and is really interested in knowing about your story, an additional point is they can even see where you sit in the engagements. If you are perhaps at the top, they can see now why you had to go and write a whole long post on Instagram about your experience. They can see that, okay, as Samson said, this is a table of people that were engaged the most. This person is perhaps part of the top 10 or top 15 or top 20. The good thing is the list is like 200 people long, but they can see how, oh, okay, you are actually present for this. It's not just you writing a summary of something that you didn't attend. In addition to that is the assessment. Now, not only do they see where you sit in the engagement, not only do they see the content that you were given, they can also now see how you perform where you are being assessed afterwards, right? The very beautiful thing about this was almost everybody, well, not almost, everybody got a very great mark for the assessment. I think the lowest score we had was around 17. 17 is very good for how we structured that whole thing. So everybody really did impressively there. The downside is the number of people that did the assessment is not that high. And I think this is very important to tell you guys, but with law, it's almost like a race. If there's a lot of people that are joining in and are participating in something, obviously, if you're one of them, your chances of winning are lower. But if people are falling off, people are not serious, people are lazy, your chances of winning are higher. And that's what really makes it so nice because it's like a marathon. Not everybody's going to finish, but if you're one of the people that's really persistent and consistent, you get to stand out. Great. Um, I'm trying to move as quickly as possible because we're out of time, and I can see some people already had plans to go and party. I'm a geek. I'm about to watch some debates or whatever here, so don't mind me. Let's see what was next, right? So it was the launch, Recruiter Hub, and then we did individual rankings. And then we did engagements on social media where we were trying to also advocate for you guys to say, hey, there's like these many students that were left off, but they really tried to just beef up their understanding through our bootcamp. And now we have to do a gap analysis. This is actually the whole key point of this whole live. If you're still here, do not go because this is actually going to be where the crux of this whole thing is. So, does anybody understand what a gap analysis is in the chat? If you know what a gap analysis is, please tell me in the chat. If you do not know, in fact, if you know what it is, put a 1. If you don't know what it is, put a 2. If you know 1, if you don't know 2, just do it quickly. We're trying to understand what is a gap analysis. And don't Google it. France is saying 2. Thank you for the honestly. Oh, Nolitando did 1. Damn. Okay. Z1. 2, 2, 2. Okay. Save me the effort of having to explain it. Nolutando, in the simplest terms you can. You don't need to worry about English. Don't worry about what the dictionary says. Explain it in your terms. Please type it out. Z, same thing. Simanye, same thing. Just type out what you understand a gap analysis to be. I'm guessing we have some BCom students here, right? Because I think it would be very relevant for BCom guys. For law, I did commercial law. That's when it became relevant. But the whole time in varsity, I never even heard of the whole term. Bonga on 2. What happened? We lost like a lot of people, and now people are coming back, guys. What was happening? I thought everybody went to groove. Goodness. 2. Don't worry about it. Nolutando, Z, and Simanya are about to school us quick. I do not know. Well, I was about to say I don't know what they're waiting for. But I mean, I'm guessing they're still trying to like formulate how to say it, and checking their spelling or whatever. I understand too. Okay, if you've just joined, we're just asking, does anybody know what a gap analysis is? And if Z, Simanye, or Nolutando can just give us a quick definitions. Okay, so Z gave a very, and especially contextually relevant response. It's the skills we currently have and the skills that we should have. I don't know if I'm correct. In this context, yes. Obviously, it has a much more wordy definition. But I think within this context, we're just gonna say it's a comparison of where you are versus where you should be. Should be is defined by the law firms, not us. We decide what we're gonna do, but we don't decide what is acceptable or what the appropriate level of accomplishment, achievement, academic performance, exposure, whatever. We do not define that. They tell us what they want, right? Nolutan is saying, from my understanding, a short example is the poll that you made, asking whether people applied for VAC work or applied for job simulations. So, in essence, you are trying to find out where students stand. That's correct. Simanye, in capital letters, better not be arguing with her. I would say it's looking at your current state and where you are and looking at your desired destination and determining the steps needed to get there. This is absolutely correct, right? This is absolutely correct. Z is correct. Nolutando is correct. And Simanya is correct. And the whole idea is, because we're trying to get to it quickly, you guys are saying we are passionate about law. We want to get into law firms. It's like, if we had it our way, it would be the commercial guys. But regardless of which one it is, because even if it's not a commercial law firm, there's still amazing firms out there. Like, when I say amazing, you'll probably be glad you didn't go to some of the bigger places, maybe because you'll see why the smaller places are valuable. But in any way, you're saying you need a law firm that's going to trust in you and take you in. Say, this is our candidate. This is the person that we're going to train. This person is going to bring home the bacon. Whatever the bacon is for our law firm, this person is going to do it. But we want this person to have a profile that's on this level. When you're doing gap analysis, you're essentially looking at, again, as Usimanye and Z and Noltando have said, what exactly is the desired destination and what exactly is the current position. Then you're looking at the gap in between that and trying to establish how to fix it afterwards, right? In you guys' case, you're law students, you have CVs that some are beautiful, some are not so beautiful, some are lacking in one thing, some are not lacking in one thing. But essentially, there is still a reason why law firms haven't preferred you. And you need to make sure that you understand what they desire and fill up that gap. I think there's been a lot of talks about what law firms expect. You know, they want good marks. You know that when they see your good marks, they're going to want to see your CV. You know that in your CV, they want to see what kind of experience you have that complements the work that they do. You know that even if they like your CV, they're going to call you for an interview. And you know that in that interview, you're going to have to be articulate, you're going to have to be confident, and you're going to have to be impressive. Even if you have the minimum, if the next person is better, then you're going to have to make sure that you are prepared for that as well, right? So it's not just you saying, yeah, I feel like I could build these skills. It's you really looking at, it's competitive out here, but I'm the one that's going to stand out. And one thing I will say, especially for this live, is you will start seeing how it's not everybody who's that aggressive with this whole thing. It's not everybody that will sacrifice a Saturday evening and say, hey, man, could be going to a Sportini or wherever it is where I groove, but let's sit down and do an hour and a half with this guy. It's not everybody. And that's good for you. Whenever there's all these initiatives, volunteer work, whatever, and people are like not really taking it seriously, you become the one that actually gets to stand a chance there, right? How I can say it is, if you check now, Samson has 600 plus students that have followed. Following is low effort. Then you have 21 people, 22 now that are here in this live, 27 at its peak. So we can just say out of 600 people, only 30 are that aggressive, right? Maybe everybody that didn't join thought, nah, it's going to be a waste of time. Let me show you why at least this session is not a waste of time. Well, it is a waste of time because I wasted like 5 minutes trying to get this whole thing started. So at the least, I wasted 5 minutes. It's a waste of 5 minutes. It's not a waste of all the time. So let's look at this. So these are the possible areas where you could be missing or you could have a gap at. Because when we say we're doing a gap analysis, we're not saying you're lacking in everything. That's not the case. Everybody's good at something. So you might find that somebody's been really impressive in some of the things we've done as a Samson, whether it was participating in the assessments, attending the live, participating in the polls. Maybe they've been that impressive there. But if we were to ask them to speak live on camera or in an interview, they still have some chokeholds. You might find that somebody who's very good at the speaking part could really sell us anything, could really recruit as many people as they want, could shine in an interview as well. Maybe their marks haven't been really showing that. So it's not to say that just because you've identified a gap, there's a gap in everything. Most likely, there's a gap in two or three things in your game, and you already have all the other ones on point. But see how everything feeds into the other. Your marks feed into recruiters just at a glance before they even check out your CV, being like, 10 distinctions. Okay, let's hear what he has to say, right? If you mess those up, you might not get to the CV part. Or you got the marks, they're very good, and then they get to the CV and they find out that you've just listed that you know Microsoft Word and stuff. You haven't participated in anything. There's no debate, no moot court, no. You haven't written anything. You haven't collaborated in an article with your professor. You did not do anything. All you have to say is, I got distinctions. Maybe now they look at your CV, they look at everybody else, and they're like, well, I mean, see? Or maybe you do the marks well, you do the CV well, you get to the interview, and that's your chokehold. Maybe you're not confident enough. Maybe you're boring. Maybe you are so nervous that even questions that you should be answering well, you're getting wrong. Just because you're nervous. Now they like how you got distinctions, but so this isn't to say because we're doing a gap analysis, we're expecting that you have a gap in everything. It might be just two or three aspects of your game, but because everything has to be tick, 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 when we ultimately get to it, something keeps breaking this chain that should ultimately land you the job you want. So it could be that you don't have legal industry insight. You don't know where the law firms are. You don't know which law firms do what. You don't know the difference between boutique firms, small firms, commercial law firms, non commercial law firms. You don't know the hierarchy within the law firms. You don't know anything. All you know is I did law, I passed, and now I have to apply for articles. Very, very dangerous position to be in. Another possible area could be that you actually have very bad academic performance, which maybe is because of your bad study habits or your unrefined study habits. I'll tell you this, ne? I was not the best when it came to exams. Still not. Still not. But as I grow older, I start realizing that it has less to do with my intellectual capabilities and more to do with my study strategy and my study habits. And I'm confident that with the next exam, whenever it would be, if I ever write one, I just need to work on that. So you get to a point where even when you are smart, you're like, I've had all these great ideas. I've done all these great things. Like I used to be the man in high school. I used to be top 10, whatever. So what's happening? Why is varsity killing me? But maybe you haven't adapted to the style of studying for university exams, the style of summarizing cases, the style of doing all these things that actually end up giving you the distinctions, end up giving you the prizes, end up giving you everything that you desire out of your academic experience. Maybe you're just not even consulting with law or with your lecturers and your tutors enough. Maybe that's the key thing. You keep studying things. Yes, actually. Please put some ones in the chat if you procrastinate. I'll start. I'll start. I'll start. Ones in the chat if you procrastinate. Don't procrastinate on putting the one in the chat. Just for once, don't procrastinate. Put a one in the chat if you procrastinate. Procrastination is the devil. Is that who's been stopping you? Apelele. Nice. What? So maybe, right? Now that we know this, and I might need this as well. Maybe what we need to do is figure out a hack for procrastination. A hack just for procrastination. Um, I'll tell you one that I found out just a week ago. It was they said that you procrastinate because you think about the effort that it would take to do something more than you think about the benefits of having done it. So it's almost like when you're about to study and you have 20 hours to study, and you know that the content, if you were at a comfortable pace of studying, would take 20 hours. You think about, it's going to take 20 hours. And you just keep thinking about it and you're not trying to do it. And you keep scrolling on your phone, you keep doing whatever. And then when you have 10 hours, that's when you start. But now the problem is you use 10 hours to stress about investing 10 hours. And now you lost the 10 hours. Instead of another way to think about it is you think about the benefits of what you're going to do. And along the way, from minute one, you're like, I'm going to get a distinction if I study. Minute two, as soon as you want to close the book, you're like, I'm going to get a distinction though. So you start looking at every amount of time that you're losing as you losing the benefit. And if you really want the benefit, it's gonna really kill you. Now, obviously, this is not as simple as just knowing that, oh yeah, let me think about the benefits and now I'll be able to study. Maybe it's about you consciously, like, have maybe a fake certificate of achievement, highest student in law of contract, have it hanging on the wall. And when you're about to study, you look at it and you know that if you do not study as hard as possible for this, all you're going to end up with the fake one. So the goal is I'm going to replace this fake one with the real one. I can already see it. I can already see what the real one is going to look like. And I'm not even joking. Go and if you're doing a particular year, maybe say you're doing second year or first year, go and look up who won the previous year's merit prize for whatever. Go ask them to give you a copy. They can even remove their name of their certificate, replace their name with your name, and then put it on the wall. Pretend it's you. Pretend it's you. And then tell yourself, if I do not study, see, you Tululu is the Sululu. This is not Tululu though. This is you being serious. Remember, your brain keeps trying to trick you that this is going to be hard. You can accept that it's going to be hard, but trick your brain into thinking this is what I'm going to get. I'm not even joking with you guys. This is what I had to do when I had to start a Samsung. Like every time I tell anyone of my friends what I'm trying to do with a Samsung, they get frustrated because they like, don't tell me what you're gonna do in the year. Tell me what you're gonna do now. And I'm like, no, but the only thing that keeps me going is what I aim to do at the end of it. I'm already locked into the results, right? I'm not locked into, oh, it's gonna take me a whole year to build this whole big thing. I'm already locked into when it's all said and done, this is what it's gonna look like. So if you call it gaslighting yourself, it is what it is. I'm just telling you, if you're saying procrastination is the problem, I'm saying print out the merit prize you want. Print out a fake transcript if you have to. Yeah, why not? Print out a fake transcript with distinctions. Put it on the wall. And this is not you manifesting. No, 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 no. This is you telling yourself, if I do not study as hard as I want to, I will have to remove this from the wall and put the real one. The real one is not going to look so nice. Now that's your gap analysis, right? Now that's you being like, hey. So yeah, that's what I have to say about procrastination. But this is one of the maybe the points that or the things that might actually be holding you back. I think for a lot of students, this is actually where things fall apart. The marks. I know this because again, even for me, getting high marks was very, very challenging. Getting into a good study routine was very, very challenging. I was grateful to have, unfortunate to have friends. This is my friend group, right? In my friend group, literally the people that I hung around with for the whole 5 years in university, there's like four of us. Well, there's five of us. One has a master's, another has a master's, another has a master's, another has a master's, and I'm the only one without one. One works in the UK. One already has, I think he's even qualified for a second qualification that's like specific to the practice area he's in. The other is already trying to even do bigger things. Like I literally had to try and keep up with those people just to even have the motivation to do so well with the marks. So it's not going to be easy, I understand, but you law firms will not care. They will not care. They will literally expect you to be of a certain standard, and it's up to you to make sure that you are at that standard by the time you come to them. Cool. Workplace exposure. This could be another thing that's hard. I will admit, workplace exposure is a bit more trickier, right? Because not only do you have to find the place where you're gonna get the experience that you need, but you also have to have the time. And after you have that time, you need to juggle it with whatever you already have going on. So this is tricky. The problem is there's really no way around it, because if you get there, there's 10 of you guys and you're the one without any workplace exposure. Even if you guys were equal on everything, equal marks, equal everything, but you're just missing the workplace exposure, now you're already not so competitive in what you're doing. Maybe you can save it by being better at the interviews. Maybe you're just, I don't know. I don't know what it would be, but just understand that as tricky as it is to get work exposure, you hunting for it, you getting it, and you juggling it with all your other commitments is literally going to be one of your defining characters. Cool. If we're talking TMI, there was a brief period. I'm talking like 2 or 3 months, ne, where I was in varsity and I was working in an admin job and I was working in a retail store on weekends. So weekdays it was an admin job. It wasn't much. Don't think it was crazy vibes, but it was like 3 hours a day in the admin job. Then go to class. Then do all my studying. Then attend like whatever else I needed to attend that was social. Weekend, I had to do 8 hour shifts at the retail store that I was working at. The only thing that would save me was Sundays, retail stores close earlier. They book you for a Friday. You have to, at 12, leave school, go there and work at the same time. And I also had to date. So I think when it comes down to it, I'm not saying I was impressive in every aspect of it. Maybe sometimes I would, show up late for this because I was still caught up in that. There will be mistakes. There will be. And I would be lying to you if I said you will be perfect once you take on too much. But the idea is you need to test yourself, see how much you can handle, see how much you can achieve with your time and with your skills. And then when you get to the law firms, that's what you're telling them. You're not just, hey, I'm a hardworking person. They're like, what you like in the past 3 months, I've had all these jobs. And sometimes I think you guys imagine that you have to be impressive in order to impress people. Sometimes you just have to be realistic to impress people, right? You could tell them straight up. In the past 6 months, I've had 2 jobs and this project I've been working on. I'm about to quit one of the jobs because I've learned how to balance things. So I moved from having a timetable where I study at this time to this time, and I'm now basically using this timetable. This is the improvement I've seen ever since changing my strategy. And the reason I mention this is just to show that I'm really experimenting with my capabilities. I'm really brave in doing things, and I usually try to like aim for, excellence, but I've also come to really appreciate what excellence really means, especially in my context. Now the person that's interviewing you is not seeing you as the last person was boasting, you're still boasting. What are y'all all are perfect. Now they're looking at it like I have a person who thinks here. I have a person who deals with real life and real issues and has learned how to deal with them practically and realistically. Now it's not just, oh, you're a superstar. He was also a superstar. We're all superstars. Now it's, hey, I've really tested myself. I've tried to see where I fit into the grand scheme of things. This is what I think, I'm good at. This is what I think I'm bad at. Do you need that? Do you not need that? Right? Great. We have 21 people here still. I'm really happy. It could maybe be your CV that's killing things. It could be your CV that's killing things. In fact, on that, give me a second. Just a second. Ooh, okay. As a prize for everybody that's attended, I was looking at what available tools are there for CV services. You know, obviously, that there's a lot of people that do CV revamp services and stuff. And I mean, if you have the money, please do invest. What? This is not a game. Invest if you have the money. We don't do it at a Samsung, so I'm not saying pay us. We don't do CV revamps. But I'm saying that maybe it's your CV that's giving you the issue, or maybe just it's the CV that's failing you in the category of trying to get a job and trying to impress law firms. So, what you would be trying to do in this instance, oh no, my screen disappeared. Come on. Okay. Please give me a second. That's weird. Hmm. Okay. Please give me a second. Anyway, actually, while you're giving me a second, this is what I had for you guys. You might have seen it, might have not seen it. Try it out. It's free. I'm not even, this is not even me trying to promote what they do. It's me saying at the minimum, at the very minimum, if you wanted to just understand where to start with the whole CV thing, that's where you start. And then everything else, you'll just use the information you keep seeing from other people, the information that you keep learning along the way. But at a minimum, just to say thank you for you being here and you literally participating in this whole thing, that's what I can give you guys, right? So I see there's a valid question. I'm sorry, I didn't see the valid question. I'll check it out just now. I'm trying to get this thing back on your screen. What's the valid question? No, Jesus. Um, my toxic motivational quote is: "You're not unmotivated. You just lack respect for your goals." Yo, that's harsh. I'll slap myself if I ever say that to my you. I will. Yo, don't you dare say that to yourself, Tando. Never me. I'm not saying what. You just lack respect. I respect my goals and dreams. I'll just start in an hour. Relax. Like, show me your friend. I will show you your future. That's not true though, because look at my future. Anyway, Tando, may I please ask about the standard of speaking and writing? How do you improve yours if you had to consciously work on it? That's a very good question, right? Um, I'm a different cat because there's this thing they call mirror neurons. And I may be wrong in how I explain this, but when I learned about it in psychology, it's that some people are really good at observing things that other people do and following the steps that those people take to do those things and then doing it in a similar and maybe exact way. With my speaking, I watch a lot of YouTube content. You would not believe. You will not believe. I'm one of those people that if I follow your page, I'm watching your video from the start till the end, most likely. If I'm not going to do that, I'm probably not going to follow you because that means I'm just not even invested in what you say. And some of the guys that I watch, whenever they speak, I try to like pick up on what exactly do they do or how do they maneuver around not saying, I'm not in, right? That's number one. Number two is with writing. I was lucky enough to have somebody that was really very, very passionate about what they write when I was a junior doing law. But even before that, I would excel in essays and stuff. But the one thing I will say is you need to get reps in, right? You need reps. And part of it, especially with you guys, since you live in the AI era, you can literally go to ChatGPT and say, "Hey, ChatGPT, I want to improve my writing. Give me a, I don't know, topic that I should write on and create some rubric for yourself that you'll mark me on." Then you go write and you come back and paste everything that you've written on it. And then it will tell you. And the good thing with this is, and I say this specifically because you can probably do it 100 times, 100 times, 100 times. And if it's boring, you can choose the topic you want to write on. You can choose the length of what you want to write. I think when it comes to writing, the more you write, the better you get at it, honestly. Avoiding it is what's going to hurt you, or doing it only when you have to is going to hurt you. With speaking, it depends on your temperament. If you're already introverted and you're not comfortable speaking in the first place, perhaps it's less a matter of you not being a great speaker and you just needing to work on your confidence and your speak loud or whatever. If you're already a chatterbox, but you just speak nonsense, where's he? I'm looking for him in the chat. He hasn't said anything yet. And I did not say who he is. So actually, no, I'm joking because he's gonna think now the moderator's always digging at him. But if you're already like you like talking, it's just a matter of you need to find a way to moderate yourself. Um, Funny enough, I found content creation to be helpful for me. I'll record things that are like 25 minutes long, knowing full well I have to cut it down. And when I'm editing it, that's when I'll see, oh, you spend too much time on that, too much time on that. Another thing that helps is having a script that you're going to stick to when you're speaking. I'll show you what I've done, right? Because again, there's 22 of you guys, and that I'm going to do some Instagram live, come and chat. That's yabba, 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 yabba here. So I'll show you guys something very serious here. Nope, not that. Mm, okay. Sorry, please bear with me. If you are going to groove, tell the Uber to wait a second. It's almost there. Tell the Uber, yo, Uber man, give me a second. Tando's still cooking out here. Also, do you guys groove? Put two in the chat if you got groove plans, even if it's not for this weekend. I know people got paid. It's the 25th. So if you got groove plans, please put a two in the chat. If you're watching this from Groove, put a one in the chat. If you are watching this from Groove, put a one in the chat. I know we didn't respect time also. What's happening? Something weird happened where my screen for where I'm speaking to you guys has disappeared. And I don't know how to bring it back. So I know I'm speaking, I know I'm somewhere, but I don't see myself. And I'm trying to just share something. Like it's really not even that deep what I was trying to achieve here. Okay. Jesus. Well, sorry. I know it's also not polite to say that when you're stressed out. Some people think it's blasphemous. So please excuse me if perhaps, you're feeling uncomfortable with me when I keep saying, oh, Jesus, all that stuff. Stop sharing. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, guys. I lost myself. I can't see where my screen is. I'm trying. Yes, there it is. Wait, there it is. So my whole thing is, I worked on a Dell laptop for most of my professional life. Now that I'm on my own, I'm working on a MacBook, and the interface is a bit different. So if you knew how to share, now it's different. If you knew how to do what, now it's different. Okay, where's the ones in the chat for everybody that has group plans? Yeah, Ayanda's very, very correct in that. Jan is law student. When to groove and Jan. You can groove. You guys are not good at multitasking. If you don't even know how to groove yet, you're just gonna like just lo. And I don't mean groove in the alcohol sense in it. I'm just talking about karaoke, We used to have in Bram, there was like a pool place where you can just go and play pool, um, bowling, not groove in the go. Yeah. What about us who don't do groove? If you don't do groove, this is perfect for you because we're gonna groove here. Anyway, what I wanted to show you guys was this when it comes to speaking, ne? Um, so what you're seeing on your screen right now is what I did or used to prepare for this whole thing. Because I wasn't playing with you guys. So if there's 18 of you guys and you're seeing this and you're thinking, was this night worth it? We've overran in our time. This is how seriously I took this thing and this opportunity. So as you can see, I had a whole script. It was written, dated. I had all my points here. Welcome and thanks for you guys. I had talking points about the campaign. I had highlighting platforms and what I'd say to you guys about that. I had key issues to address, why we use polls and everything. I had points about the virtual boot camp. I had information about the gap analysis, which is what we're actually talking about. I don't know how we drifted off to Groove, but you can see how now you're looking at me like, oh, he's just, but this is how much I had to really outline it. I couldn't just say, I'm going to do a live and I'm going to get in front of you guys and I'm just going to yabba, yabba, yabba. I had to have a good framework in mind for what exactly we're going to do and what we're going to touch on, right? So I think when you ask me speaking and writing, the writing part doesn't even have to be excellent for this section. You can see some things don't have punctuation marks in. But for the speaking, I needed to have parameters. I needed to understand what to say, what not to say, what not to do, right? Cool. Now that we're speaking about the gap analysis, actually, I'll go back to that presentation in a short while. Let's stick here. I'll try to make this focus and zoom in a bit. This is the resource that I was speaking about when I say if you join, you're gonna get this. I guess I didn't join was just like, nah, miss me, whatever. Great. So when looking at everything that we've been speaking about, what does our gap analysis look like for everybody, the 19 people that are in this live right now? Cool. If you currently sit on this column here for any of these things, this is your current your state. This is your desired state. That's what Simanya was telling us about. This is why you're not there yet. And this is what you can do to get there for all of you guys. All of if you don't have articles, that means you need to undertake this gap analysis. You need to undertake it for legal industry insight, which means you need to understand exactly how much you know about the South African legal industry. When I said that, I meant the law firms, the practice areas, the regulators, and everything. You need to see where you sit in academic performance. How good are your marks? How good is your average? How well are you good at or are you at preparing for exams and everything? Workplace exposure. Have you done anything that you could put in your CV? Have you done anything that gives you an idea of what you'll be doing in law? This is where even just the job simulations come in. Like it's hard to get into law firms. Cool, we get it. But there's free virtual job simulations that you could have tried out. You didn't even bother for any of them, right? You tried to get into the or participate in the Assumption bootcamp or virtual bootcamp. Cool, cool. But then when we did an assessment after, you didn't participate. So that's the whole idea with this, right? Cool. Then you get to professional document readiness. How good is your CV? Is it formatted correctly? Does it cover everything that your skill set requires? Is it very specific to the firms and the strengths that you have, the firms you want and the strengths that you have, right? Practical skills for your CV, right? We did a post. I like how much it got engagement, which was about things that you or courses you could take to improve your skill set. If you by the end of the year haven't even bothered with any of them, I don't know what to say. And just know that you're the type of person the law firms they don't even want to look your way. Like, it's fine if you're saying it was my first year last year, I didn't know. And then I applied for articles this year. Oh no, okay, I'm a second year. Maybe I'll try again next year. Maybe I'll keep applying for the VAC work for December and everything. If you didn't know, it's fine. But now that you know, you're going to have to do something about it. right? Cool. And then we get to practical skills. You need things to put in your CV. And it's not just that you're going to have, look, you could list whatever you want in your CV, but if you haven't done it, not only are you lying, but it's not a skill you have. So the idea is you identify a course, you see what skills it would give you undertake it. And if you haven't gotten those skills, don't be comfortable putting it in your CV because they will be tested later. If you say you're competent on Microsoft Word, just because you did one attempt at the course and you got your certificate and you dipped, you're going to get into a law firm and it's going to be time to draft things and you're going to be slow. You're not going to understand formatting. You're not going to understand so many things. Now you have a skill that's just on paper. It's not within your own internal skill set and your own internal capabilities. Anyway, communication, whether it's written or oral, where do you sit with that? Professionalism. This is a bit tricky because again, you need a professional space to test it at. But just even knowing the absolute no-nos that Kylie was explaining to you guys, maybe that's what you need in a minimum, right? Um, Mentorship and networking. You just There's 24 of you guys here, so this is a dig to everybody that's not Zanele, Simanye, that's not Nolutando, that's not who else do we have? E2, that's not Solange, that's not who else do we have? You literally were part of a group of people. Right now, there's people who we said, go get a law student, a first year. Somebody came back with 57. You didn't come back with even one. If this is a competition, it's not a matter of, oh no, you didn't win the competition. It's you did not even try compared to somebody else who tried their hardest. Now you could say, oh no, in 24 hours I didn't build. But again, now you know, right? So now it's up to you. Starting now, you have to now be on par or at least competitive with all those people that are ahead of you in all these other aspects. Cool. Career planning and self-assessment. If you guys are really like the kids of the future and the internet generation, this is your time to show off because when I was a university student, I found a platform called Resume.io. You can check it out at your own time if you want. This is not a plug, it's not a paid promotion. But the idea was I was very, very lazy to do my own CV. And each time I tried, it would look ugly. I did not want to do it. I went to Resume.io. They had free templates, and the templates were intuitive. They listed things that you could add. Sometimes you wouldn't even remember that you should add something, and they would have a field for it. Do you have the skill or not? I'm like, yeah, I've done something like this actually. Type it out, write it down. CV came out. That's the last CV that I had that I had as a student. So I feel like things should have progressed much, much more faster than that at this stage. Like this was 2018 for me. You guys are in 2025. So if you cannot find anything on the internet that's around self-assessments and everything, that's you not having or giving enough work into it. It's you not having the initiative. It's less about what's available. That being said, we are here to actually guide you along with this. What do we have for August? Because July we did the boot camp and we're past the boot camp now. We're past saying, hey, these are the people that learned this. We now have to move on to more and better things. So for August, Samson is going to be working on the volunteer work aspect of your game, guys. As I've said before, we already have sent out emails to some NGOs, just gauging, do they have capacity? What do their programs look like? That way we come back to you guys when we communicate that to you guys, and it's a bit more clearer and it's a bit more helpful than just, hey, email these guys and ask for volunteer work. It helps if one concise and professional email goes to them, explains how many of you guys there are. It's weird because I tell these NGOs that there's like at least 200 student, 600 if you're counting on Instagram. I was just working off the bootcamp numbers. And then you do a live and there's like 22 people. Good news for you if you're in the live is, again, when now they tell me, oh, we have 20 people. If it was up to me to recommend or to tell people, I'm telling the 20 that I feel like, okay, showing up consistently. It's not even based on anything else. But that's not me trying to be spicy or like make it such that there's rewards for stuff. It's just practical. It's why would I overlook somebody that has been engaging with me, telling me what their questions are, asking me how to look and do things? Why would I overlook that person and then help somebody that I really do not understand where they sit in things? So, again, if you are part of this group, thank you. And what we have planned is going to be really apparent to you guys as we go on into August. At the moment, just know that we're going to be working all of August just on the volunteer work front. It's not just about, oh, go volunteer here, right? Because this is a very, I'm not going to say complicated, but you can picture this. Even just how you approach an NGO, assuming they don't have channels for it, is going to matter. So if they say we have a form, just fill the form and email it to this website, to this email. That's fine. But if there isn't even that and you find some random person's number, now your email etiquette skills come in. Now it's not just, hey, I'm so and so. Do you have vacation work? Now it's, hello, I'm so and so. This is my call. This is where I stand. This is what I want to improve. Is the space for you, for somebody like me in your organization? There's that aspect. Then there's the aspect of what you do when you're within that organization. Who do you ask questions from? Who do you lean on for support? Then there's what you do after you've finished. How do you request references? Right? That way you don't ask for you don't ask an NGO, hey, can I join you guys? I'm gonna volunteer, I'm gonna be very helpful. You get there, you're underwhelming, and now you need a reference. Now it's like, we're not gonna recommend you. So there's a lot of aspects that I feel like maybe if you're a second year, you haven't thought about it that far. You just think you need to go there, put in some hours, and then get out. But it might actually be that you need to be very careful and concise from the start up until the end. You might even need to put yourself in a position where whoever is coordinating a program or is the leader of that NGO is the one that's now advocating for you. Now they're calling up their lawyer friends. Hey, got this wonderful student here that was volunteering with us for this period. Do you have articles there? If you do, please put them at the front of the line. So you need to be in that position with your volunteer work. It's not just going to be a matter of, oh, I just put in some hours and I picked up 2 papers from the ground and then it was done. You need to make sure that is the NGO that you're targeting, do they have capacity? Are they compatible with the skills that you need in order to impress law firms? Do you have a plan for what to achieve when you're there so that they're impressed and they're able to actually say good things about you? Do you have a good understanding of how to capture that in your CV and in your LinkedIn? So this is all on you guys. It's not really, I know it becomes a bit dreadful when you like talk about it during a whole live, but it's actually a bit more nicer than you guys think. And you'll be in a position to even teach other people once you're like a law student. You'll be able to like, yeah, fam, this is how I did it. Do this, this, that. I had a lot of people that would help me with that. The law firm that I ended up doing articles in before I even went there, I didn't even do it because I learned it somewhere. I was just nervous. I found a guy on LinkedIn. I still remember his name. I just won't say it here. But asked him, hey, got this thing in your. He told me everything I needed to do. When I had the idea that I needed to get there and be boastful and be Harvey Specter and like throw my weight around, he was the one like, hey man, get there, keep your head down, do the work. Ask things this way. Talk to so and so if you have questions. Do things like this, like this. So all of this is to say, once you guys graduate and you get articles and you're in the law firms that you want, you're going to be speaking like you've always known these things. But that's why you have to put in the work first, right? Yeah. So if anybody has do Q&A now, I do not think I'll go because again, maybe you guys don't have groove, but I do feel like it's time to maybe relax, watch a movie, and maybe even just reflect on everything. We've went like almost 2 hours at the stage. So I'm very grateful for you guys' time. If you have any questions, I'm here up until the questions end, honestly. No questions about intellectual property. I think the person who asked that left though. But no. If anything, actually, about intellectual property, I had to figure out how to set up this whole YouTube live thing. And they ask you questions like, are you gonna be using somebody else's content here? Are you gonna be like they asked me so many things, but I came to understand the point though. There's also things like, can I play music here? What if I just wanted to walk into a song? Some of the lives that I usually enjoyed would start out like that. There's a guy I used to watch a lot. He would start out his live with this nice jazz song. So I was thinking about it. Should I do that as well? But anyway, what's the questions? Karabo has, I recently saw a TikTok where people were saying that these big law firms can be toxic. What's your take on that? Every workplace can be toxic. I have people who work for a law firm that has 3 people and it's still toxic. Every place can be. When I say can be, I'm saying that there's a human element to a workplace. So they say, just like families, law firms are like families, actually. Do not picture them like anything different. What I mean is, picture 10 different families, regardless of size. In each family, it might be that the whole family is toxic. And when I say toxic, I mean it's toxic to you because you just joined. But for them, it's just how things go. In some, it might be that there's just one person who's just preferred and they get to do all the toxic stuff. And maybe like that's as far as it goes. And maybe if you're unlucky, you get to work with that person or you get to be around that person. In some firms, it might be that there's like in and out people that are coming in, being toxic, leaving, or whatnot. And like it's so weird because you actually just start seeing how you cannot gauge what law firm is safe from the outside. You need to understand how you have to conduct yourself, how you have to set boundaries when other people are conducting themselves, how you can report things or how you can talk about things within that space, and when is the right time to leave. If you can understand those things, how do I conduct myself? How do I set what do I call it? Parameters or boundaries. Who do I talk to and when do I leave? You'll now be able to say, hey, I was unlucky to get into this firm. I'm doing articles here. It's been 8 months, but I've made a decision to leave. And you'll be content with it because it won't be just you misinterpreted it. Maybe it was just something that was going to go away as soon as you change your rotation. Now you've given up entirely on the law firm. Or maybe it's something where somebody could have intervened and now you've given up on this whole thing. So I think understand how to conduct yourself, understand how to set boundaries, then understand who you can talk to, whether it's within the firm itself or outside. Maybe it's somebody you trust. Try not to talk to your mom because your mom is going to be protective and tell you to leave. Try to like talk to somebody who is an active professional who's kind of also maybe dealing with something that are similar, or maybe just recently dealt with something like that, and figure out what's the right time to leave. By the right time to leave, I mean if you're crying every day for 5 days because of work, it's you cannot save that because it's either you the problem or they are. But either way, there's just no, for me at least. So I can tell you that this is not a law firm. Law firms are like families. The same way rich families have like there's rich toxic families, there's poor toxic families, there's small toxic families, there's big toxic families. It just comes in all varieties. You cannot tell which one is which from the outside. You need to be in, and then when you're in, figure it out. Um, what's the next question? Sorry, I think I need to make myself larger here. I need to just stop the sharing actually. Cool. So the next question was, oh, and you saw this on TikTok. TikTok people try to get likes and go viral, man. The good thing I can tell you with the big law firms is, regardless of what happens, you can trust that they already have a code of conduct that says that shouldn't happen. Not saying it won't happen, but trust there's a code of conduct that says it shouldn't happen. You can trust that they already have established communication lines and helplines. Worst case scenario, you were too late in acting or you didn't know about them, but they will be there. They will be there. Also, there's a lot on the line in terms of reputation with them because the whole thing is that we're big. So sometimes what kind of helps things cool down is the fact that they do not want things to spiral. I will say they're not always good at it, but I will just be honest with you and say that in terms of actually, no, we are going to the next question. Mental health first. I agree with that as well. And it's not even because we're trying to be the generation that's sort of, oh, we like our mental health and everything. It's just on the realistic side. We do not want to have you self harm. We don't want to we don't want to have you driving home and so distracted that you cause an accident because of something that was just professional and for money. So you want to make sure that it's not just about the feeling of mental health first. It's really you looking at my job shouldn't kill me. So yeah. um Z, is it a good idea to keep our cover Moja Shoro sweet? I do not know. This is so hard. And I get this question all the time because I'm like, the recruiters should be telling you that. I'm not going to be reading it. And I wouldn't know. Like, literally, if there's 20 recruiters, if 10 of them say yes and 10 of them say no, if I give you one of those two answers, I literally just gave you a 50% correct answer. So it's hard to say, Z. I'm really sorry. That really helps. Would sure remember your advice should it get to that. Yeah. Also, sometimes things are like dependent on departments, like I'm saying. So it could be that the whole firm is great, but that one department is not so great. Sometimes it's specific lines of communication and people. So it might be that the whole department is fine, the whole firm is fine. Just you and this person just keep not understanding each other, whatever it may be. But I will tell you that it's not a good idea to think that it's based on the size of the law firm. It's that I can literally, yeah, if I had money to bet, yeah. Cool. We don't have any questions or any more questions. What I will say is for everybody that won, by the way, I extended to everybody that participated. So it's more than 5 people. But yeah, Simanye is gonna get her voucher. Don't spend it all at Groove, please. And then everybody else, I would like to have a one-on-one consultation with you guys next week. I think we can just talk about it obviously after the live. I'll also see if I can find dedicated time to speak to you guys. I think I'll try to make it worthwhile. As I showed you guys my preparation, even just for this live, I'm not going here or coming here and winging things. This is very serious for me, and it's very serious for Asamson as an organization. So whatever it is, I will try to make sure that it's not only given enough seriousness, but also is productive for you guys. So no final questions. If not, just put ones in the chat just before you leave and like the video. Oh, one more thing, right? After I post this live, I will give the link on Instagram to everyone. Please repost it. I know they didn't attend, but the whole idea is a Samba song, hence a Samson. So they will be expecting this. You can bet everybody that decided I'm not joining that live is still gonna be expecting the live. So please reshare it for them. And I really appreciate every one of you guys for joining. One day when I tell this story, it would be how we started off with like our first live session, peaked at like 27 people. And maybe it will be so big at that time. The guys that are here will be moderators because then they have to obviously be the OG members and stuff. But I really appreciate you guys. And I'll try to make sure that this is also uploaded. Maybe we might even get some nice TikTok shorts out of it. I don't know. So yeah, thank you guys very much. I really appreciate you guys and have a good evening. Stay safe if you're going somewhere. We have a last minute question. Kosami. Kwandile. Kwandile, where do you come from? We never saw you the whole show. Hi Tando. At the bootcamp, you likened seven articles to walking through the fire. It is, but the good thing becomes you get to the other side and you can now easily do it. Everybody who's done articles, if they were to be offered their current salary just to go through articles again, they'd do it. They would do it. Maybe they would agree that it's harder because you can't delegate and everything, but they figured out all the mistakes, and that's the whole point. It's like it's supposed to teach you, don't do that, don't do that this way, do that this way to do it quicker. Talk to this person whenever. Like it's literally an exercise of you building yourself up rather than you just coming in and like and like guns blazing and being a superstar. Bye bye, Nompumelelo. How will we know about the one-on-one sessions? I'll email you guys because I'm guessing unless the students were giving me a wrong name, I already have your guys' email addresses from the previous interactions we've had. So I'll email you guys. But if you already have like a preferred slot, or maybe you're just busy on a certain day and you want to flag that, feel free to email me and say, hey, about this, I can't have the one-on-one session on this date. Okay, I'm gonna wrap it up here because there's no more questions. I see all the ones. Thank you very much, Nonhlanhla. Thank you, Luvuyo. Thank you, Ayanda. Yeah, thank you, Bonga. Who else am I missing? Uhone, thank you very much. Who else? Lungile, yes, thank you, thank you. Yeah, see you guys on the flip side. So yeah, be safe.